So you want to main Tristana, the Yordle Gunner. Well, you've come to the right place. Hi champions! In this video, we'll be going through Wild Rift Tristana in depth. We'll be going through Tristana's abilities and leveling order, spells, combos, builds, runes, counters, and general combat tips. And if you have any of your own Tristana tips, please share them in the comments down below. First, ask yourself, why do you want to main Tristana? Tristana's pros: she has great zone potential, she has strong team fight, strong mid to late game, and she has high mobility. Tristana's cons: she has weak early game, and she's straightforward, easy abilities, but hard to master. Tristana is a marksman that deals physical and magical damage. Wild Rift considers her to be of easy difficulty, and I personally find her average. This is a guide for Tristana in the Dragon Lane as the carry. My name is Teeds. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and click the bell for everything Wild Rift. Let's get into Tristana's abilities. Tristana's passive: draw a bead. Tristana's passive increases the range of 2 of her abilities each time she levels up by 10. Her third ability and ultimate's range will increase each time she levels up. Tristana's first ability: rapid fire. Tristana's 1 is a buff ability type. Tristana attack speed will increase for 5 seconds. This ability has no attack animation. It has a cooldown of 19 seconds. Tristana's second ability: rocket jump. This ability is a circle ability type. Tristana leaps to a target location, enemies in radius will take damage and be slowed by 60% for 1 second. If you manage to kill an enemy while this ability is down, it will reset the cooldown so you can use it again. If you fully stack your third ability, it will also reset the cooldown of this ability. So remember, there are 2 ways to reset the cooldown of this ability. In theory, you could jump 3 times in a short amount of time. I recommend aiming this jump and not just tapping it so you can actually go to the location you want to go. This ability has a cooldown of 20 seconds. Tristana's third ability: explosive charge. Tristana's 3 is a point and click ability. It is a missable ability, they just have to be in radius. This ability has a passive and an active. Its passive: enemies explode when killed by Tristana's attacks, dealing magical damage to nearby enemies. This is great for lane clearing, especially as last hitting a minion will deal damage to all the other minions around it. Also great to use on minions close to an enemy if the enemy is out of reach, so the enemy will take some splash damage. As an active, it places a bomb on the enemy or turret, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies. Tristana's attacks and abilities charge the bomb's damage, stacking 4 times. To keep track of the stacks, there are 3 bomb colors. Yellow is 1 stack, orange is 2 stacks, and red is 3 stacks, then explosion. You can only stack when the bomb is on the enemy. You cannot do this before placing the bomb on the enemy. You can do this with auto attacks and abilities. At 4 stacks, this will reset the cooldown of your second ability. Placing the bomb on a turret/tower gives you a bigger radius. This is great to zone enemies out of the turret. Just be aware that if the explosion hits an enemy and you're in turret range, it will target you if it's originally targeting the minions. If you place a bomb on an enemy who dies before the bomb explosion, the bomb will immediately explode. This ability has a cooldown of 16 seconds. Tristana's ultimate: Buster Shot. Tristana's ultimate fires a massive cannonball at an enemy, dealing 300 magical damage. This will knock them back. You can use this to get enemies away from you if you want to use it defensively. If you want to use it aggressively, you want to hit them into a wall or into your team/turret. This ultimate is basically a way to reposition enemies, ideally in a bad place for them. You can also use it to secure kills. You can also put them through certain walls, a great way to get them away from you. This ability has a cooldown of 80 seconds. Next, the leveling order. For the first 5 levels: 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you want to prioritize maxing out your ultimate for increased damage and decreased cooldown, your third ability for increased damage, your first ability for increased attack speed and decreased cooldown, and your second ability for increased damage and slow time and decreased cooldown. Next, Tristana's combos. Before we get into combos, a few pointers. Make sure you make use of her auto attacks. Remember that you can stack bomb damage, her third ability, with auto attacks and abilities. Remember that the bomb must be placed on the enemy to stack it. Remember that you can reset the cooldown of your second ability by either taking down a champion while it is down or fully stacking your third ability. Only jump in if you know you can get a kill. Having no escapes puts Tristana in a very bad position. Tristana's positioning is so important. You must look for the right opportunities. So for the combos: 3, 1, auto attacks to stack the bomb quicker. This is pretty much your main simple combo. A cheeky way to use your ultimate is to jump behind them and ult them into tower. This is great for 1v1 fights. A full combo you can use is 2, 3, ult, 1, auto, auto. 3, 2, auto, ult, 1, auto, 3, auto, 2 on top of the enemy, auto, ult if needed. These combos will reset your jump so you can use them again. Next, Tristana's builds. Builds are situational and it depends on the game you're in. Builds can also change depending on the current meta. My builds are based on what players are currently building in high level ranked. I recommend reading the bonuses of these items in your item builder. Infinity Edge for attack damage and critical rate. This item basically increases your critical damage. Static Shift for critical rate and attack speed. Lutinous Quicksilver. Rapid Fire Cannon for critical rate and attack speed. Phantom Dancer for critical rate and attack speed. Mortal Reminder for attack damage. Next, Tristana's runes. For her main rune, Conqueror for stacking damage. For her secondary runes, Gathering Storm for increased attack damage or Brutal for attack damage and penetration. Then Spirit Walker for health and slow resist. Then Sweet Tooth for honey, fruit and gold. Tristana's counters, enemies who position well. If you use your jump to engage and you don't kill the enemy, it's always a risk when you jump in. Enemies who know how to play against her, such as avoiding her when her first ability is active, knocking enemies into a bad place, such as away from fights when targeting them or pushing them towards your allies who are trying to escape, enemies who position themselves well. Lastly, general and combat tips. Remember that you can place bombs on towers/turrets and it will zone out enemies pretty well. Remember that your third ability is great for engagement, but only if you can get it back up to get out or secure the kill safely. Try to poke enemies when they are closer to hitting minions. Position yourself well. Make sure there are wards in your lane. If there is an enemy by themselves in your tower, jump and ult them into tower. But make sure you time this well. You want to do it when they have no escapes or anything that stops you from doing your combo. Try to focus on farming and leveling as much as possible as her ability range increases with level. That is all for the Tristana guide. Please let me know in the comments down below which champion you would like to main next. Subscribe and click the bell for more champion guides. I'm planning on releasing one every day or one every 2 days. I will also be starting to stream on Twitch for Wild Rift, so if you're interested in that, the link to my Twitch channel is down below. Like the video if you found this helpful. I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye!